Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Stand in line for your fix. A triple shot of Marcus in the mix, serving you yet another round of fish and grits. What's going on, fellas? The second serving. We coming back for the people. We got to do our back to back as usual. Today we're gonna break them off with the episode of Power, the Kyrie Irving surprise trade that seems like we only seen coming. And then a defenders review. May throw in a little bit of ballers. I've been on that Madden a little bit too. But we're gonna let the people know what we've been up to. But man, in power.
Bro,
Wilson, I gotta start with you, bro, because you the one that's not as surprised as me and Marcus. Are they doing anything right for you? Have they finally caught your attention after all this time?
The thing for me is this, and it's one of the things that we debated about in a couple of episodes, was the fact that the three of us are like-minded in the fact that we can tell when somebody is trying to piss in our face and tell us it's raining. And by
mm-hmm.
that I mean you go through, and with a lot of series that we notice nowadays, because we're grown and stuff like that, you'll have those juicy episodes that kind of get to the meat and potatoes, and yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Oh shit, look at this shit. And then you have what we like to call those filler or fluff episodes, where it's just kind of getting you from point A to point B, not a whole lot of fanfare, not a whole lot of stuff going on, and it kind of gets you into that whole thing of it feeling monotonous at some point. Well, these folks knowing that you're on episode 9 of 10, well, you're going to have to give me something besides that fluff and filler. So while it was encouraging to see that they finally gave you some action, some loose ends starting to be tied up, some twists and turns and stuff like that,
Should have happened
it,
4 episodes ago.
it's almost one of those things where you feel kind of offended, because it's like, well, motherfucker, I knew you was going to give it to me on episode 9 of 10 because you ain't got no choice. You should
Mm-hmm.
have gave this to me on episode 5 of 10.
They were
Mm-hmm.
until the
So
second
I
half
have
of the season trying to grieve over the
for
death.
giving me some good twists and turns and some good, juice to this storyline. But I feel borderline fucking offended at the fact that now that you're giving me this juice, I only get one more episode and then we're
Mm-hmm.
done.
And you gotta wait 2 weeks for that.
And you know what's crazy about it? Listening to Marcus talk about this, what I have taken away from Power, we talked about the suspense kind of dying off from Power.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really wish that Power did was let me buy into the characters that were making a turn this season, like Tasha doing Tasha, I guess things or whatnot. With her flirting with the
Yeah, ride or die
DAU and
Tasha
stuff like
and
that.
straight up hoe Tasha.
If
Yeah,
I
I
wish I
mean,
would have bought into the Tyreek thing more. I wish I would have bought into the Dre turning, because how can this man was so loyal to Ghost. Flip on Ghost like that when Kanan pops up. I wish
and
I would have
that's the
bought more
funny
into
part
it.
about it, fam.
He
That's
still
the thing
support
that I
King.
think
Crazy.
That's the thing that I think that 50 was complaining about when he wanted them to get 12 episodes instead of
Hmm.
10. And everybody looked like, oh, 50 just tripping, 50 just tripping. Well, no. 50 was trying to make people understand without just flat out telling you, well, we need 2 more episodes to make this what we wanted it
To
to be.
flesh it out.
True.
Need it to be, to let you get in and dive deeper into these characters and the motivations and why they're doing the things that they're doing, because some of the shit looks so knee jerk. It's like, are you fucking
Kidding
you
me?
went from being heartbroken, wanting to do whatever it could to keep Ghost, and now you just fucking anything to move and say hi. You look pretty.
Exactly.
Not
Really?
watching your kids. Kids just do
And
whatever
Yeah,
they
fuck the
want to do.
kids. I don't give a fuck about them kids. I'm trying to go get this dick.
and what pi-
Before everything was the kids.
and what pissed me
I
off about
just
Tasha is that the fact that you were the main person talking about you didn't want Ghost to leave the quote unquote the game and to get out of it. Now all of a sudden you want to get out of it because you quote unquote found love with this dude who's a bum ass dude. I'm just like, I don't believe, like, I'm not buying into anything. How perfect would it have been if we had 13 episodes and the first 10 episodes everything was more fleshed out, and then we literally have 2 to 3 more episodes with Ghost becoming fucking Ghost with who don't gives a fuck anymore now that his daughter is dead.
This
Like,
they
I would have
they
bought
had
more
that.
into that.
Ghost was just in jail for too fucking long. It should not take him 6 episodes to be free, fam. Like, I'm sorry. We know he innocent. Like, we clearly seen Sandoval kill that dude. We know he innocent. We know he gonna get out. And we had to wait 6 fucking weeks for this dude to get out of
and
jail.
the funniest part about that whole thing,
Hmm.
this season was dedicated more, whether people paid attention to it or not, in my opinion, fleshing out the depth and intricacies of Angela's character than anybody else on the show.
That is true.
This
That is
whole
true.
season has pretty much been about Angela, whether people want to look at it
Yeah,
that
'cause
way or not.
To make her
yeah,
look
She's
like
been like,
positive.
she's
cause
been like the focus. They spent
she
the
been
entire
fucking every
season
other
flipping her
episode
off.
last year.
Yeah,
That's true
they
because
spent the entire season flipping her from villain to hero.
that is true because they must have heard the complaints of her getting death threats or her being
I don't know
confronted in the
what it
middle of the
is.
wall,
Well, that's
getting
crazy
in the.
ass fans. Like, this is a fucking TV show.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying about it. Power
You
must have.
stalking people for over a TV show, man.
because
That
I
is
mean,
true.
I feel sorry for Tariq if that's the case. I know his
Oh,
personal life has to be
He
shambles.
already sent Raina to send a message to Charlemagne. He better stop clapping at him. I mean,
Seriously.
it's so funny. It was so. Hey
I
man,
can't,
that
I
dude is
can't with
making.
that right now.
All right.
Let it be known that Tyreek is making I think 150K an episode, so that dude can boss up and say what he want to say. He
I ain't
can
mad
great.
at him. I ain't mad at him. It's not De
So
Niro money, but
because
it's good.
with Charlemagne, because what happened was Charlemagne giving him donkey of the day for his character, quote unquote, and you personally attacking a dude who looks just like the character outside of the realm of power. You kind of attacking him as a person, he just playing a role. So
That makes you the donkey
Doing
of
their
the day.
job.
it
Doing
makes
it
you the donkey of the
for
day.
doing his job.
Yeah, that makes him the donkey of the
For being
day.
a good actor.
Yeah, man, he buys into the role. You hate Tyreek because he's doing the role. You hate him because he didn't lash out and he want to save a white woman, but don't want to save his own sister and stuff
Hello.
like that. So it is what it is. I have been bullish on Power. I expected more. I don't know what it is. Is it from maybe because Mary Jane was getting better, or maybe because Queen Sugar started picking it up and Power just took so long to finally get things moving.
So long, bro.
I felt I wanted more. This
Power
season,
had the
Power.
check engine light on it by episode 4.
I will forgive.
Man.
I will forgive season 4 of Power if season 5 kills it. And the reason why I says that is because I forgive season 3 of House of Cards, season 3 of Orange is the New Black because they came back harder with another season because you felt like the setup needed to happen for it to be a payoff. So if season 5 comes and Ghost is just fucking shit up, I'm good with it.
No, I'm cool
If
with it
season
too,
5 comes and Ghost is freshly divorced and on the warpath with a new chick by his side, then I'm good.
Hey, that would be nice. Rolling with Angela.
and I hope they,
No,
I hope they
no.
transfer like Tommy
Not
to the
Angela.
Lawrence.
Somebody
You want the reporter chick?
Let him get with the reporter chick or somebody that's just off the grid or something, but not either one of them. No Angela, no Tasha. Neither one.
It feels like they about to write Tommy off, man. I
I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I think they're about to write.
I mean, as they move on to BET, they're gonna start having commercials. It's not gonna be as much
BET.
recording time. Yeah, they're going to BET.
When did Stars get rid of Power that is going to BET?
50 Cent said he got to deal with BET for Power.
Oh, well, guess what? I won't watch Power again.
You know
because
what?
I know he's
If
about
he
to
has
die
a
down.
deal, if he has a deal with BET, it has to be in syndication because if he has a deal with BET to just go straight over there, Power is dead.
It is dead because look what the game
if
did.
you add commercials to that show, oh, they ruined the game.
Oh man, like we wait. Like Tommy comes out with a gun about to shoot somebody. Oh, straight to commercial. Get the fuck out of here! I don't want no commercials.
I don't either. I like to watch my show.
Exactly.
I think personally, Power is moving to the trio. I think 50, Tommy, and Ghost are about to rekindle their friendship and start fucking shit up. In my opinion.
I mean, I can see it once they find out what the fuck Drake been doing. I can see that.
Exactly.
If 50 was legit, he should have went through and flipped his money over to this streaming shit, and it should be a Netflix or a Hulu show, and
Yes, sir.
really ratchet it up.
Everybody getting paid,
and they could really ratchet the shit up.
Amy Sure, bum ass getting 11 million. She ain't do shit. I hate her.
Hey man, Amy, hey, don't hate on the lady, man. She making her.
Why you
She
mad
making
at
her
Amy?
M's. She making her M's.
Why you mad at Amy?
Not funny, bro. She's not funny.
She's not funny, and it's not a lot of
Everybody has their taste. Everybody has their flavor.
Yeah,
people
that's that bitter.
Like Friends and Seinfeld was the greatest thing ever.
Oh,
and I never cared for either one, but they had their lane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me ask y'all a question. Just this improv too. Which one was the worst King of Comedy out of the 4? Just y'all opinion. I just want to humble opinion.
Out of Seinfeld, Friends,
no, the Kings of Comedy.
Who was the worst King of Comedy out of the 4?
Hughley. I don't like D.L. Hughley to save
Steve
my life.
Harvey.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, I just like hearing people.
What about you?
Mine was actually, and I hate saying this,
Bernie.
It was Bernie.
I know you don't like Bernie. I remember you saying that one episode.
Bernie.
You don't like Bernie.
I can tolerate him, but he just
for me.
I couldn't get with
for me. Steve Harvey was the worst because to me he was the more gimmicky of the 4.
That's true.
DL Hewley, and people didn't find out really a lot until later about exactly how much of a throwback black comedian
He was.
he was,
Yeah, I like
in the
DM. I
sense
like his, I like
of
his stuff.
he's a comedian, but he's socially aware,
Exactly.
and that was always the
I think that's
hallmark
what catches my eye.
of great black
And I didn't.
comedians. Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I didn't like that growing up, because he was that type of. When I got older, I started appreciating his comedy more, and I was kind of falling for the gimmick of Steve Harvey and Bernie Mac and things of that nature. It kind of was, kind of watered down some, and you kind of knew what you were getting from them.
yeah.
If we talking about
Cedric
TV,
the
if we talking
Entertainer
about
for
TV
me.
wives, Bernie Mac had the baddest TV wife. Let's just listen.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. But like
Oh,
said,
we already know what it is.
Said was the classic throwback jack of all trades comedy guy, and
Oh,
that
he can
showed
do
in
it
his
all.
TV show. He embraced that Flip Wilson, Richard Pryor type variety show. He
His
had
stand
that
up,
versatility with
he
his
started adding it
comedy.
to his stand up, the
And
dancing.
that's my thing. He had that
When was no
versatility with
breath?
it, and that's why I always liked him. Bernie Mac was a unique entity in the way that he delivered his demeanor and the way that he went about interpreting his comedy
He was so
and
cheap.
incorporating that family dynamic, which he turned
Exactly.
into an awesome TV show.
He felt the most like an uncle. He felt like Uncle Bernie.
To me, Steve Harvey was just the dude that just had the real heavy country twang to his voice. That did some cool comedy just off of the virtue of the fact that if you grew up down south, you kind of identify with some of the shit that he was saying. But other
True.
than that,
True.
I
Okay.
mean, for my money, you could have substituted Steve Harvey with Ricky Smiley on Kings of Comedy, and the shit would have probably sold twice as well.
Shit,
That's
Chris
just me.
Rock. Put Chris Rock on
That's
there.
just me. No,
Man,
Chris Rock can't be on something like that.
I would have.
Chris
I
Rock
like
and
Martin.
Dave Chappelle have entered that category as well as Martin Lawrence. You can't put them with anybody else because it would make
They need to be
everybody
by
else
themselves.
suffer. They have to be by
That's true.
themselves. They have to be
That's
by
true.
themselves.
I agree. I think I think I totally agree with what you just said, because they can sell a show by themselves.
No
And
doubt.
they're iconic. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, and as funny as it sounds to I know the three of us, uh, to me, Martin Lawrence historically is so underrated as a comedian
No,
So underrated.
when he
because
came
of the
down, he was
influence that
it
he
was like
had
4 years
on.
ago. Oh my God, he still got it. He still
But
got
the,
it.
Until that,
the influence that he's had on pop culture as a
Overall,
comedian
yeah.
is
And
almost
acting.
unparalleled by anybody outside of Richard Pryor and until recently Dave Chappelle. I mean, you can literally find so much in the daily lexicon that we get from shit that we saw or heard from Martin stand up or his TV
or
show
a TV
that
show,
is
or
so
in his
prevalent
movies.
in our lives right now. I mean, so much that he's done in movies, so much that he's done in stand up, so many people that he's put on in stand up. It's funny because I don't know why exactly, but I just do not feel that people take the time to recognize him for all that he brought to the table and all that he did as
Him
an
and
artist, as an actor, to influence black culture and black cinema.
I'm with
see,
you.
and I throw him and Eddie Murphy both in that category,
Yeah.
because they
Yes.
kind of, their movies aren't stick Kevin Hart. You know what you're gonna get, or with a Dave
Oh,
Chappelle when he was in the
They
Mark.
have range.
fucking
They
role.
have range. They have
Yeah.
versatility.
Kevin Hart got one role. You know
Yeah,
what he
and
gonna do.
you know what he gonna
And you
play.
can believe them as actors. That's the part. The things that they do is believable, and it's not just, oh, that's Martin Lawrence, or oh, that's Eddie Murphy.
That's true.
No, like I said, I didn't want to get off topic. That was just an interesting
Hey,
question.
brother, we here for that second serving and to give them that pop culture. That was pop culture to me.
Well, let's give Power a ranking on 1 to 10. I mean, I know the season's not complete yet. We still got a week and a half for the next episode. So far,
Like overall,
with the whole storyline and everything, this season in particular, 1 through 10, what you got?
You can go
I
for it,
give it a
Marcus.
5.
I was gonna give it a 5 too, man. It's like
I'm
if
right there. I think we consensus. I was about because they only gave us half.
It's not
half
terrible. It's not terrible,
It's not
but
terrible,
we are
it's not
smart
good.
enough to know that they could have given us so much more.
So
I
much.
expected more.
I
I
expect.
expected more, and that's why it gets the 5. It does not get the 5 for the sense of, oh, the acting was bad, story was terrible. It was, I expected more, and I feel like I was let down. Now it's starting to pick up some, but like Marcus said,
I was still letting them.
it's episode 9, and we like, damn, we got one more episode to see Ghost flip out. That's it.
It's like Dad left you at Six Flags, and then he came back like at nighttime. Like, damn,
Yeah, I
Dad,
had
you
a good
didn't
time.
And don't let me get ahead of myself, fellas. Y'all, I'm assuming have not seen the leaked episodes because they leaked the last 4 episodes of the season.
I
Oh
haven't.
no.
I know I can
Oh,
search for it, but it's like, man,
well,
I just want to watch it regularly.
it will be interesting because that season finale is going to be interesting. We will have a very good discussion about that.
Ooh, can't wait.
Okay. So that's surprising. Even what you see in the whole thing, you still got it at a 5. So that's surprising right there.
I still have it as at a 5 because of the simple fact that we're all smart enough to know what can be brought to the table.
I got you. I got you.
We're all smart enough to know what we could have gotten out of this season, and unfortunately, what we could have gotten doesn't measure up nearly to what
They
we
they
got.
they left yards on the field, huh? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, you going through, and just because you scored a couple of touchdowns in the last 2 minutes, don't justify the fact that we was down 4 touchdowns to begin with before the 2 minute warning. So
It's power Blake Bortles.
you can't
Nah, I'm
can't make me feel you can't make me feel good just because we didn't lose by 4 touchdowns. We only lost by 2. We still lost.
Man, let's talk about the loss that the Cavs had, man. Losing Kyrie Irving, the
I'm
second
sorry,
best player
sir.
on your
That was not
team.
a loss. That was not a loss.
You don't think that was a loss? Losing Kyrie Irving is gonna
Nope.
help the Cavs? Is that what you said?
What did they lose?
Who, the Cavs?
They lost their second best player.
They lost a score. They let that closer.
And they got a score.
Who?
What did they lose? They got the same dude, except he's 5 inches shorter.
Yeah, but I just feel like that the Celtics offense was really tailor made
Yeah,
around
it was
Isaiah
tailored.
Thomas. That
But
kind of
you know
made them
what?
flourish.
Here's the other kicker about
now
it.
he got to play off ball.
The Celtics got a dude that basically does everything that Kyrie does, except he's 5 inches shorter. They
Mhm.
got a better presence on defense on the wing with Jay Crowder, who comes at a cheap price on his contract for the next couple of years. They got a big man project that they can go back and throw in there just in case or use for a bargaining chip later on. And they got an unprotected first-round pick from arguably the worst team in basketball, the New Jersey Nets, through the Boston Celtics, which is probably going to end up being a top 3 pick. So I'm still trying to figure out how the Cavs lost
All right,
when all they gave up was
in
one
your
player.
opinion, does this make LeBron stay? Does bringing in Crowder, Isaiah Thomas in the first
At
round?
this point, I'm almost positive that this trade was done in anticipation of him not
Leaving.
staying.
Because it was a rumor going around because with that three-way trade with the Suns that they would probably end up getting Paul George and also getting Bledsoe, and LeBron still wouldn't commit with them knowing that the Cavs had to plan for the future. But this is the caveat that I would throw in there. If the Cavs do what I think the Cavs might do and flip that pick and trade off a couple of their pieces to get maybe a Boogie Cousins or somebody else, then they win the trade. But when it all boils down to the person that wins the trade is the person that gets the best player out the deal. And getting Kyrie is, once again, is the best player. And I truly feel like he will mesh in that offense. I feel like he fits that offense.
It's the second best coach he's ever had next to Coach K. Easy.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. And him and Tatum, there's no telling what's going to happen. What I really want to say is I want to know how bad Isaiah Thomas' injury is, for one thing. For two, I really want to see if this year is what I'm going to be looking for is to see if Isaiah Thomas was only good because they kind of tailor-made that offense around him. That's what I'm going to want to pay attention to.
Well, define good. Do you think that his scoring is going to suffer, or
I think
definitely going to suffer?
I think his scoring is going to go down. I think his play, I guess, setting up other players for success is going to fall off a little bit, in my opinion.
And see, for me, I kind of disagree. I think that his scoring numbers are going to suffer, but I think that his scoring efficiency is going to spike. Because
he got the greatest playmaker in basketball in this team.
That is true.
But even more than that, you go through and you look at the pieces that he has around him now and how they fit to his game as opposed to what he had in Boston. When you go through and you look at them having a Shumpert, you have the Jay Crowder that's still out there to play hard D on the wing. You got LeBron. You got a Tristan Thompson instead of an Al Horford down there to kill and crash them boards. You got a Kevin Love to crash them boards, catch that pass out for the 3 and stuff like that. To me, he has more pieces Cleveland than he actually had in Boston.
I can agree. The thing that I'm going to always look for is it's kind of an even trade because neither one kind of got worse or whatnot. I say the Cavaliers lost their closer. I mean, we'll see how that goes.
The fact that Boston didn't have to give up Jaylen Brown or Tatum is like, bro, what the fuck did the Cavs tell them? Like, what will y'all
But you
send
know,
us?
the one thing that they listened to that made them two guys not matter is the fact that they got a completely unprotected first round pick from the New Jersey Nets. And if you haven't looked at all of the prospects
Oh, they
coming
are
out in
terrible.
this year's draft,
Those Nets are terrible.
if you have not looked at the prospects that are coming out in this draft coming up, it's absolutely loaded. That's why they didn't care about Jaylen Brown or Tatum. They're going to get a stud out of that pick.
I mean, that's if they
They're
consider
either
to
going
keep
to
it for
get
that
a
pick.
stud. They're either going to get a stud out of that pick, or they're going to dangle that same carrot in front of somebody else to get
See,
a
and I think they're gonna do
pre-existing
that too.
stud
That'd be the
in the
worst thing
league.
they can do if you ain't got no commitment out of LeBron. I mean, I'd rather take the young
Well, no,
players.
actually, if you're gonna go through and see, this is the other part of it too, from the business standpoint. You have to go through and you have to understand that this is a guy that just came in at GM for Cleveland that has to
Hmm.
do what he feels is the best thing to do for
For the
Cleveland
team.
as
Hmm.
GM. To me, it
No
was a
doubt.
grand slam by the GM because he did something that's basically LeBron proof. Because whether LeBron leaves or LeBron stays, he put enough pieces in place and he has enough stuff there to still be able to build a solid foundation for the future.
They gonna bring Dion Waiters back.
Oh man, you know what I
But
like about the
regardless of the
Celtics?
pieces that they break out, though, I mean, they still have more options than they did before they had this trade go down. And
No,
at
no
the end of the
doubt.
day, that's
At
what
least,
you want as a franchise.
they a lot more prepared for LeBron to leave than they were.
They are,
Exactly.
and they have Jeff Green, another sneaky pickup that they made that I did
Yeah,
not know
Yeah.
they even had. But the thing I like about the Celtics is the Celtics they set themselves up for the future. If you want to be honest with you, you have Kyrie for the 2 years that they have him, but I feel like they're gonna have the winning atmosphere around Kyrie that they're gonna probably
I think
spark interest for him to
I think
sign.
putting Jaylen Brown in the star lineup is a big thing. Like,
Yeah, it is nice because
the
he's
fact
gonna take that leap.
I think he was good last year. I mean, as a
I like
rookie,
Jalen. I wish that
what
he
he
played
came in
more
and did,
last
yeah. I mean, and the fact that they was,
He played good defense.
yeah, he plays good defense, and you was willing to trade away Avery Bradley for a reason. Yeah, I understand Avery
Hmm.
wanted more money, but you also have to have some type of backup plan. And I
Well,
think
I
Hmm.
mean,
Jalen,
the key for the Celtics right now is,
Tatum.
you go through and you look at that. I
mhm,
mean, to me, honestly,
take him off the
the
pot can
bigger
get 15.
the,
He can get
the
15.
bigger key though for me is out how effective a now more important Marcus Smart is going to be to that backcourt rotation
Exactly, and I
because
love it.
his role just increased dramatically.
Yes,
With
twofold.
Bradley being
I
gone
think he's
too,
ready. I think he's ready.
and I think he's ready as well, but you still
Him and
got to get out
Rozier.
there. You still got to suit up and you still
Yeah,
got to
Terry.
play. And it's going to be hard to match what you got out of Avery Bradley as far as it pertains to all around game, but particularly when it came to
But it wasn't
perimeter
the
and
defense
on
that was
ball
the problem.
defense.
It was that offense. Now that offense is really popping. Like the offense
Well,
is
the
it's like
offense is
if Thomas
popping.
couldn't get it going, it was gonna be a tough night. Now you got Kyrie. Now you
Let's
got
be
Hayward.
honest
Now you
with
got
each other
Tatum that
when we
got
say
moved.
that.
Now you got Jalen
But
Brown.
let's be honest with each other when we say that. The offense is
Morris.
popping and that's all well and good, and the defense is
Oh,
still
but Brad
significant
Stevens not
because
gonna play that shit on defense. So I feel like
Oh
they
yeah, he don't play that
but
shit on
see,
I
defense.
feel like they locked in as a top 10, if
here's
not top 5. Locked.
here's my problem that I have with the trade as a whole.
It's number one seed, baby.
This was a trade purely done in interest of competing in the East. This wasn't done with the interest of competing in the league because with this trade done, neither one of them did anything to be able to touch the West. Neither
But
one
I'm,
of them.
Yeah, but
but I'm gonna tell you,
you get more money for finishing first and second in the conference. So
And
hey,
I'm not mad
hey,
at
but
that
also,
either, but at the end of the day, you're not here to win conference titles, especially in a place like
I
Boston.
mean,
You're here to
when you
win
got the
world titles.
Warriors on the other side, you got to settle for what the hell you can get. I
and
mean,
then that's not sneeze with
Like
this.
this. Let me ask like this. Does this trade make Cleveland or Boston a 2 seed in the West?
hey,
Make
I'm
Boston
still on
a
board
fourth
for the
seed.
4-peat. So until Golden State get their 4 straight championships, I don't see no.
I'm just saying, does that make them a 2 seed in the West? It's currently constructed
Oh,
right
of
now.
course
Either
not.
I'm
one
gonna
of them.
tell you. I'm gonna tell you right
30
now.
seed max.
With that team, the team that the Celtics have right now, and the coaching style that Brad Stevenson brings, I will give them the fourth seed. I think they are better than OKC. I think they're better than the Clippers and all those other teams. I don't think they are better than Houston because once again, this
I
may
think
be
they
the
can
homer
put
in me.
together a defensive plan to stop Houston.
Yes. And the thing that's crazy about the Celtics, and which I don't think many people are paying attention to, I think they're not done, in my opinion. All they need is a center. They're a center away from being a legit threat.
Get
Because if you
Horford.
slide Horford
But
into that forward,
where's the center exist though?
man, you can drop some trade. You can
What
try to
Drake?
get
I mean,
Boogie.
we say that we say that
Out there.
how many true centers in the classic sense of the word actually exist in the NBA?
I'll
It's
take.
not.
I mean,
I'll trade with
It's
LA.
not a
I'll
lot.
trade
I
with
mean,
LA. Listen,
it's
I'll
all
trade
it's
with
all these
LA.
millennium centers. I mean, the Miles Turners of the league who just want to shoot threes and block a couple shots instead of
because I mean, if
big dirty.
you want to be perfectly honest, we say that they need a big, they need a center, or something like that. To be honest, if you got a Brad Stevens back there and with the pieces that they got and stuff like that,
Oh, they fine.
the only thing you really need is like a Dwayne Dedman to play center for you. You
Well,
don't need a big name at center. You
that's
just
what
need
I'm saying.
somebody that plays
Somebody
traditional
physical.
center.
Somebody.
That's what I said. That's what I was
Horford just
going
not
to say.
physical enough.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I said. You can try to make a trade, and you can try to get a
But
Brook
see,
Lopez, or you
that's
can
where
try to get, or you can get a Bogut to fit into that
Hey,
role to give
But
you
Colorado
see,
some.
that's the
Lopez.
thing. That's the thing for
The
me. I
Bucks
don't
can't.
think that it's even that complicated. I think that Boston is kind of behind because they can just pick up a nice old-fashioned banger. You don't have to have a big name to do that. Hell, people didn't think Dwayne Dedman was worth a damn when he came to San
I like
Antonio.
Dedman. I like
He was
Dedman.
one of the best rim protectors in the league last season.
I
But he's
like
not a
Dedman.
big name, and that's my thing. You can go along those lines. You don't have to wait or even trade any of your pieces away. You could pick up a guy like that off free agency
Zach
or
Randolph
off
would
the
have
D
really fit
League.
that. Or Zach
What?
Randolph really fit the
Well,
squad.
Zach too busy moving
Oh
Travis.
his
yeah.
product,
Hey,
so
Zach
yeah.
moving that
It's a
work.
big rich town.
Yeah,
I
Zach
said,
Zach too busy
oh,
moving that weight,
He
so
tried.
he's not
He
available.
tried getting
I
power
said,
5. That's what Zach
I
tried.
read the thing. I said, man, is Zach smoking weed? Oh, he's selling weed. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Hey,
Zach said that pipeline don't run from Tennessee to
let him get it how he
Massachusetts the way
live.
he wants to.
Zach was like, I got 2 more
You
years
got to
in the
take it
league.
out
I need
west.
to make all my money.
All things
Yeah.
considered, and outside of LeBron leaving us staying, what's the trade grade for both sides for Boston and Cleveland? What's the trade grade?
I think it's an A for both teams.
A for both. A
A
for
for both.
both.
Okay.
Because they
Yeah,
both got a
I think
better
it's an A for both
because
because nobody really lost. They both addressed things that they really needed at the end of the day. And
Mhm.
looking to the future and moving forward, I think they both can potentially profit and improve off of the trade that they made. If they play their cards right, if they make good choices moving forward, they can both build off of what they got out of these trades and become better teams as
No,
a result.
I
But
100% agree. I think the biggest loser out the whole trade is the Washington Wizards because I feel like they was like right on the cusp of being like a top 3, top 14, like for the next
and I
couple of
mean
years.
they still
And now I
can.
fat like they need more pieces now. Like
They still
they
can, but
can't win
yeah, they
as
definitely
is.
need more pieces.
They
But
can't win as is.
I still don't think that they're too far off. But I think the biggest part of it,
I mean,
a big step that they
the
took
biggest thing that
was getting
Washington
their
had was
recruiter
their
signed.
athletic point guard, and now that the Celtics have one too, it's like now
But
who
for
I like
me,
now I like the coaching situation a lot more than Washington.
oh yeah, and for me, one of the biggest things that helps for Washington is the fact that they just signed their biggest recruiter to a long-term deal because the attractiveness is starting to grow on a lot of
Oh
athletes as far
yeah,
as being able to play with John Wall.
Boogie. If Boogie has to go to DC, like John Wall got to make it happen to compete with the
I
Celtics.
hope Boogie.
Hey, they alumni, they can do it.
If they get Boogie, man, they're gonna be. Hey, Washington
That's
is locked and loaded.
that's
They
Yeah,
get
they
that's
get
Boogie.
they
that's what
get
I say.
they get Boogie. Washington's gonna be
Washington
a problem.
they need a big move, and I think that's the only big move I can see that's actually gonna have them competing with the Celtics.
The Celtics get Gortat.
Oh man.
Hey, now don't get me wrong.
That'd be a nice fit.
What's the boy in
If
Utah?
you talking about Gobert,
If he
no,
go
he ain't
over
going
those
nowhere.
He ain't going
man,
nowhere. Utah about to throw.
I would get the fuck out of Utah.
But Gobert likes it in Utah,
Yeah, he does like it.
and
He
Utah
is
likes
a
Gobert.
Frenchman. All right,
And
And,
then
and
Gobert.
Gobert,
You
but
can't
Utah likes Gobert, and that's the thing. And he flourishes in that system. They have a good system that benefits his skill set. For Boogie, if his people are in his ear correctly and talking to him right,
He'll go to
it
Cleveland.
would him going to the East period would be the equivalent of Shaq leaving and going to the West.
Yes.
Just go and eat.
It's a transfer of
Just
power.
go and eat. You go to the East, there isn't a center anywhere in your zip code.
Whoa. Don't you disrespect Joel Embiid now. He's right there, my brother.
Hey,
I see what you're saying.
I'm not
established.
disrespecting Joel Embiid. I love all my Kansas alumni with all my heart. I love me some Joel Embiid.
What's
But
up,
I
JR?
also know the writing. I also know the writing on the wall. And when it comes to overall skill set on playing that post, there's nobody in the NBA that has more talent than Boogie.
Can I throw this at y'all? And it's a trade in my mind I have. So what if the Cavs try to trade off Shumpert, Tristan Thompson, and their pick for Boogie?
I'll take it.
Because the simple fact is Shumpert is going to get canceled out of that
But the
offense
thing is about LeBron, like if he can,
the only reason why I say this is because Shumpert is going to be canceled out that offense with them adding Crowder.
Shumpert's canceled out.
But no, I see talent in Shumpert, but he's not given the opportunity.
Okay, let me ask this though on the flip side of that trade.
I'm not.
On the flip side of that trade, let me ask this:
What
what would be the interest in New Orleans taking on Shumpert when they pretty much have the same thing with Tyreek Evans?
Yeah, it's no difference.
That is true. That is true. I forgot about
The
that.
Tristan Thompson part is attractive. The pick is definitely attractive.
Yeah, the Anthony Davis
Shumpert is like,
Another scenario in my mind I was also having. I wish Greg Monroe. I wish the Celtics talk about Greg Monroe and try to bring him in today.
But he got a good little spot in Milwaukee, man.
I know he has a good spot in Milwaukee, but I like Greg Monroe.
It ain't too much pressure. You got Thon Maker.
Man, you know the funny thing about Milwaukee, man. Low key, it's a lot of dudes that want to go play for Jason Kidd.
Exactly.
Milwaukee is actually an underrated, attractive landing spot
nice
for a lot of players.
They still haven't made that big. Monroe's a nice spot, but it wasn't that big splash. But I think the biggest splash could. If I had a choice between Milwaukee and Washington, I'm still kind of leaning Washington because they got better scores, you know.
But but like this, is what I'm saying. Greg Monroe,
Greg Freak is going to be a top 5 player.
But that's what I'm saying.
Greg
Monroe. Honestly, if I'm the Wizards at this point, I'll look and stand pat next season. If I really want to kind of keep everything going, just kind of get it in, not really break the bank, but still improve dramatically. Shit, DeAndre Jordan is available.
Oh yeah, I like DeAndre Jordan, but I like DeAndre Jordan.
I think you put him in that system with Bradley Beal and John Wall. That would be pretty all right in the East.
DeAndre a Texas boy, but when you get out there to Cali, you may fall in love with that lifestyle. I don't know if you're gonna.
But what I'm saying,
you can't wear that hairstyle out there.
That lifestyle, but you're not gonna fall in love with being the only player out there either. Chris Paul already bailed on him.
He got Blake Griffin.
Yeah. Okay.
Y'all brush past this real quick. I mean, y'all really brushed past the Greg Monroe real quick, but. Like I was saying, is Greg Monroe really fits that offense, in my opinion. He would fit the Celtics offense and what they run. And him paired up with Al Horford would really be complementary pieces because both of them can go ahead and rebound. Horford is a good passer, and I just feel like Greg Monroe would be the rebounder that they need.
But agree, but I don't think
you do it like that though. But whose growth gets stunted as a result?
And they won the offseason in general. I don't think nobody else want to help the damn Celtics.
But see, my thing is, whose growth gets stunted as a result? Because you're talking about a whole bunch of talent and a whole lot of people, and everybody ain't gonna get to play. So some of them young guns that you got out there on the wing or something like that, if you got Horford and Monroe out there on the field at the same time, are gonna suffer. They're gonna suffer in minutes. They're gonna suffer in opportunities. So whose growth are you willing to stunt in order to get somebody like a Greg Monroe there?
If
you're going to keep
Tatum can get on that block.
If you're going to keep an Al Horford, because for a lot of people, in order for you to get Monroe, you'll probably have to give up Al Horford.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if I had to give up Al Horford and then get Greg Monroe, I'll take that because what would happen is Greg Monroe gives them the size and rebounding that they need, and also you can throw Tatum at that 4. And you good to roll.
Tatum can play 4 in today's NBA.
Exactly, he can play that stretch 4, and he can fit that role perfectly.
In the East,
yeah, because he can come off the dribble.
Okay, but even if he can compliment Draymond Green if they playing with the Warriors.
Yeah, so, and they own the Warriors. That's the other thing.
They own the Warriors like always.
They own the Warriors with the old roster. We'll see how it works out for them this season.
Oh yeah, well Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant is always going to be a murderer out there. Oh yeah, they got Swaggy. Oh yeah, ain't nobody beating the Warriors. I forgot about Swaggy.
3 more to go.
Yeah, you know what? Not 1, not 2, not.
Spurs
gonna mess it up. Rudiger,
yeah, we throwing that monkey wrench in there, homie. We throwing that monkey wrench in there, homie.
And that wouldn't surprise me.
I wouldn't be surprised because Rudy Gay is very unsung.
I mean, the only thing that can really stop the Warriors right now is themselves and injury.
That's true.
As currently constructed. But with that being said, it's not like we haven't seen teams go out that same exact way before. So, I mean, yeah, all things considered, and yeah, we look at it on paper, yeah, there's nobody that's really touching the Warriors as currently constructed. But we've also seen plenty of a super team or a super dominant team fall to the wayside and get beat. There's nobody that thought that the Pistons would have been able to beat the Lakers back in the day in 2002. And you know what I'm saying? We've seen stranger things happen. So it's one of those things that is fun for us to talk about before the season gets started. But they still got to get out there and play them.
I'm super excited for basketball too. But
basketball is going to be competitive as hell this year.
I want y'all to play. What role are you going to play today? I want y'all to play agent. And this is. I want y'all to play agent. I want you to talk your primary target, Klay Thompson, into going to the East. What?
Hell no.
No, listen to me. What team
Stay
and
with me,
why?
Warriors.
No,
If
if
I'm
you're the agent, you know you're gonna get a bigger percentage if you go to the East. What team and why?
if I'm Klay Thompson, I'm going to the Sixers.
Okay.
I'm going to the Sixers because with that young core that they have, and he gives them the dual threat type of two guard that they would need to make that offense really work. And you have a Joel Embiid, and you'll have a Ben Simmons and a what's his
I like
name,
that. I
the
like
one
that.
they just drafted. What's his name?
What seed would they? Oh, Markel Fultz. What
Shit,
what's
with Klay Thompson, they in a 3 seed because they have money to go spend and get somebody else. So they're a 3 right behind Cleveland and what you call it, the Celtics. In my opinion,
okay?
that would elevate them to a whole other level because, in my opinion, Klay Thompson is not only my favorite player, but he's also one of the best two-way players that the league has seen, and he plays off the ball. You can't have a great two-way player like that who can play off the ball as well as he does. The dude sneezed and had 60, and he wasn't even dominating the ball like that.
No, not at all. What
So
about you, Wilson?
This is like the layup drill.
where's the alley at?
Klay. This is I don't even know why I'm telling you this, brother, but I mean it's kind of like a foregone conclusion. But Klay, for your brand, for your name, for your legacy,
New York.
for your popularity, babe,
Oh,
be the face
New
of the
York.
NBA. Go to the Knicks, be the face of the NBA. You, Kristaps, get it together. Couple of playoff runs, resurrect that team from the grave. It ain't hard to tell. It ain't hard to do.
What seed would Klay make the Knicks?
Right now, like if he went this year,
I'm sure they make the playoffs, but what seed?
if he went this year,
Mhm.
at best,
Okay.
they still have too much cleaning out of the closet.
If
But that
Dennis
being said, if they go through and do what they need to do and use him, Kristaps, as building blocks and key pieces with the amount of two-way skills that both of them bring to the table, it won't be long. Boston and Cleveland will both be sweating because if you add a Klay Thompson to a Kristaps Porzingis and subtract a Carmelo Anthony from the New York Knicks next year, every significant free agent from DeAndre Jordan on down will be more than happy to go out there and play with them.
Listen to this scenario. If he went to the Knicks, and if they didn't fuck up and they got Dennis Smith Jr. with him, with Klay Thompson, Dennis Smith, and they get a stretch 3, maybe I don't know who's out
Just
there.
add DeAndre Jordan.
You get another good center, man, they would fuck.
Just add DeAndre Jordan
up. Yeah, I would become a Knicks fan. I'm a Klay Thompson.
Just add DeAndre Jordan, man. It sells itself.
Like I said,
just add DeAndre Jordan.
Just another one I just wanted to throw out there. Something just crossed my mind.
Also, and let me also will make another case of him going to Miami. He would fit Miami. Him and Dragic.
Can't go bad with Miami, baby.
Him, Dragic, and Whiteside. Him, Dragic, and Whiteside would really fuck some shit up because I think you don't like Dragic, so I know that.
Look, I always had a running.
Well, no. It's not a thing of Dragic. It's a thing of, for me, it's more Pat Riley.
And you see a 305 number, you just pick up and say yes. If anybody from Miami's calling you, you just pick up and say yes. It don't matter what it is.
Because I don't want Klay. I don't want Klay to go anywhere.
You got the Tomahawks, baby. I know you don't like that Kane Nation, but hey, Miami.
No. It's not even a standpoint of that. It's just a thing that I just don't really think that it fits Klay the player. As far as
Klay the lifestyle, you see what he was doing in China. He'll live it up in Miami.
Man,
it can to a certain extent, but I mean, he can go to Orlando and experience the same lifestyle. I mean,
not with the Magic. Look at Jonathan Simmons is about to die in Disney World.
Can we be honest? Can we be honest a little bit and let's really take it serious for a minute? If Klay was really smart, if Klay really wanted to take his career to the next leap, the team that he really would be going to is to the Blazers or to Denver.
He would just go to my team.
He would. Uh-oh. Go ahead.
Let's talk about defenders. I don't even want to talk about
I'm just saying, if you really want to look at it and you talking about being legitimately successful, taking your career to the next step, building on your legacy and stuff like that, you have no ego in front of you. You have no big name to be in the shadow of,
he has
and you have the perfect system in which to thrive. If he came and he played for Popovich, they would win 3 championships.
Him and
with Klay
Kawhi
Thompson.
on the.
They would win 3 championships.
All right, let's move on. 'Cause I'm getting
Man,
disgusted.
I'm getting scared just thinking about that
I'm getting
team.
disgusted. Oh my god. Matter of fact, I need
And
to
yes,
breathe.
I'm biased
Yeah,
because Klay is my second favorite player in the league right now.
I
Behind
love Clay, man. He's my favorite player.
Like I can't
love
even
Klay.
taste nothing right now. Like all the taste.
Be
sorry.
truthfully honest, Klay Thompson on anybody team would make that shit
Yeah,
better.
I mean, Klay Thompson is upgrading
Honestly,
everybody.
that was my point of this. Like
He's a universal
Klay
upgrade.
Thompson he is the forgotten superstar in the league. You know, nobody
yes.
pays attention to him.
They do not.
And I think that's going to play into why this
And,
quote unquote.
and the real reason he brought up because they for some dumb reason they called the Warriors trying to trade Kyrie.
No. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that. The Warriors do that. No, the Warriors. Be quick about it. The Warriors leaked that bull crap because they wanted to show Klay Thompson, hey, they trying to offer Kyrie. We don't want him. We want you. They try to give us Paul George. We don't
they
want
trying
him.
to save face because they know his ass
They
is
know
not
exactly
happy.
what they doing. I'm not fooled.
They trying to save his. They trying to save face because they know that he's not happy being the fourth option on his team.
But it's all good. We can go on to the defenders.
Let's talk about the defender.
Oh man,
it sounds like y'all had a fucking blast watching it.
It was the 8-episode explosion of glory goodness that I've always wanted.
I heard nothing but good things from women and men on this.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Defenders is probably a good hell of a time I had in my house, just sitting down and chilling.
I heard people go as far as say this is the best show they've seen on Netflix. And
I'm not gonna go that far now. Hey, it's Netflix got some. The Crown is damn good. The last season of House and Cards is a little bit better in my opinion. But the Defenders, from a pure action standpoint, storyteller, character interaction was beautiful. And like I wanted to tell Marcus, or we have talked about, is the let me see what the word I'm looking for. The connection that Iron Fist and Luke Cage had this season was undeniable, and it smells like they're about to do Heroes for Hire. I smell like that's next. What do you think, Marcus?
I can't go against that, man. I cheerleaded it before it came out. I tried to tell people that, me being completely optimistic and trying to make sure that, keeping all things equal, that I thought that after the lackluster presentation of Iron Fist, in my opinion, I looked for them to redeem themselves with Defenders, because you put yourself on that little cornerstone of you can either kind of make yourself with the fans or break yourself depending on how you rebound with this Defenders thing. And the one thing that was interesting, and I know me and Griff talked about it before, was I told him, because of course y'all know me, Super Geek, I binge watched that motherfucker as soon as it came out at like 3 in the morning. And watched the entire season. Yeah, I was on that.
Yeah, really.
It's 10 a.m.
I was on that bad boy. But the one thing that I raved about was the fact that it seemed to me, and especially from our previous conversation about the whole thing, that the guys that played Luke Cage and Iron Fist kind of, I guess, got the jitters out of their system, or kind of got more comfortable in their roles, or just kind of went and got a refresher on acting, because they seem to be night and day different as far as how much they own the characters that they were portraying. Like, Luke Cage wasn't about no bullshit in this one.
He was not wooden at all. He was not wooden in his character. He was
very fluid. He was almost cocky. Yeah, he was almost cocky in a sense with the way that he went about doing his thing. Iron Fist came in that motherfucker with a chip on his shoulder and was like pissed off all the time. And I'm like, cool, give me a little bit more angst, give me a little bit more fire, give me a little bit more. I'm tired of you motherfuckers looking at me like I'm a joke or like I'm the goofy dude. I'm about to punch the shit out of one of y'all. Just
and I like that he was centered at moments. Like he had, you saw maturity in his character. Like you see the little young.
He looked like Iron Fist. Finally,
he did. Especially that scene. I'm gonna be spoiler alert. When episode 3, when they were in that boardroom and he started whooping ass, I said, you know what? I'm sold. This is some shit that I need to tell somebody about, because that fight scene really showcased his fucking powers more than the actual show did. I mean, his show did.
And I like the fact that, you know, with all things that Marvel have done with all these series and stuff like that, part of the fun of watching some of these shows is digging through and seeing some of the Easter eggs, but also finding the symbolism. I like the fact that you had a five-fingered hand as far as the villains were concerned,
Exactly, it was beautiful.
going up against another five-fingered defender, because
Hmm.
Stick was underrated in this show as
Very
well.
underrated.
And he did an excellent job, and it did an excellent job as far as helping to connect and tell the story and kind of further it along. I like the way that they combine little elements here and there from just about all things that went on in all of the series to kind
Hmm.
of make them make sense and interconnect. It wasn't a thing of let's force these guys together to make it work. No, it actually made sense in the way that they told the story as to why these four ended up being together, why they ended up continuing to be together, and
And
it
it felt
gives you
natural.
encouragement for them going forward. As my oldest goddaughter Jayla had me hilariously laughing about once she finally saw it, but I shared her sentiment. Never have I ever been so happy to see somebody get an arm cut off. Then at the end of that series,
Oh, because that
spoiler alert,
robot
when
arm is
Misty
coming.
Knight,
You
and
know it.
now we not only get the Heroes from Hire on the Iron Fist side, but hopefully we can get the Nightwing Detective Agency on the
Hmm.
opposite side with Colleen Wing and Misty
Can't
Knight,
wait.
which
Can't
is how
wait.
it progresses in the comic books for the people that don't know. Those ladies actually end up forming their own detective private investigator company, and Misty Knight ends up with a bionic arm as a result of getting hers amputated moving forward. But there's so many things that you can see going forward. Now I'm super interested in seeing how the Punisher series is going to blend into all
Hmm.
this. I'm super interested in seeing how they progress with Elektra as a villain. I'm super interested in seeing how the dynamic increases as far as what's the next step for Daredevil.
Yeah,
What's the next
rebirth.
step for Jessica Jones as far as her alias investigations and stuff like that? What are
She's a
the
very
new
underrated
villains and
character.
stuff? Man, she's super underrated, and it's
She really
funny.
stole everything that she was in. Every scene that she was in, I feel like she stole it. She was the audience. Um, she said what the audience was thinking. You know what I'm talking about? She was kind of alleviated the moment. She kind of
And it's funny
devaluated
you say
Tesseract.
that. It's
Tesseract.
funny you say that about her stealing scenes, because I think ultimately as they move forward, much like the comic book, she's gonna end up stealing Luke away from Rosario Dawson.
Oh, you know they
Uh,
married. We already know how that goes.
but it's funny the way that they kind of keep that dynamic kind of quote unquote
Fresh.
open throughout the entirety of this little thing. Like he goes back to check on her, and they have their little
Hmm.
side conversations and reminisce about
We need to
this
link
and
up
reminisce
later
about
on.
that. It's like, yeah, yeah, that kind of thing. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess, you know, that coffee you got from Rosario wasn't good enough in
Yeah, I
episode
guess
one.
it
Maybe you
wasn't
got to
good
go
enough.
back.
I think you wanted
Maybe you got to go
some
back to that
cream.
vanilla roast. Maybe, yeah,
Hey,
maybe you need that
he wanted
French
that white
vanilla roast
chocolate.
again.
But
Yeah,
the
but
only
overall, man, the Defenders is extremely good example of the things that me and Griff rave about, particularly when it comes to comic book interpretations, as far as when they bring it to the screen, whether it's the big screen or the small screen, and exactly the amount of stuff that you can accomplish with it when you dedicate yourself to doing it right. I think that they got it right. I think that they got it right, but at the same time, they kept it to their own vision. They weren't slavish to source material or to this tie or that tie. Um,
What's the
and I
one through
think that's
10?
what made it enjoyable. For me, it's a 9.
Me
Nice.
personally, I would give it a 9.5, and I'm gonna give it that point five. And the only
What's
reason
missing?
the thing that it missed for me is the Sigourney Weaver character as Alexandria. I didn't really care. I feel like she was killed off really quick. I know they
That's
didn't
the only
kind of
problem
give
I
it.
had. That's why I gave it a 9, is because I
Yeah,
think they didn't give me a chance to really start
really know who
hating
she
her.
They
is.
actually
I
developed.
was
They're like the
there.
one
I was
character that
almost there, but then she was
They
gone.
killed her off so quick. When she
Mm.
died, you were just like, "Yo, what? I really don't know who the hell she is." Like I haven't really seen her do anything really except run her mouth and then look like super depressing every other scene. And to get somebody of her caliber, it messed it up. But me personally, the reason why I gave it the point five is because I've never felt when I watched the Avengers movies, it felt like it was forced when they came together. It was
Mm-hmm.
just like out of necessity, they kind of just threw them together.
let's
Mm-hmm.
just
Or
get as
when you
many
look at
people
the
as we can.
Justice, but this is what the knowledge somebody dropped. Even with the Justice League, it doesn't feel natural. With this, it was so natural how they came together and how they bonded, and you felt like there was a bond going. And going forward, I hope Fox sits down, the executives at Fox sit down, watch the show, and say, you know what? We can do a damn good X-Men movie now that we've seen this.
Yes.
And you know
That's
the
what I
funny
need.
part, the funny thing about it, and I love the fact that this was something that came out, and I know we were excited about it, and we weren't let down. The only other reason, ironically enough, that I gave it a 9 is that, contrary to the way that we feel about it with Power, I wish they would have had a couple more episodes to kind of flesh
Let
out
stuff out. Yes, I agree.
aspects, because there was some things that you could have addressed a little bit more. Like, I wanted to get a little bit more into Sigourney Weaver's character before they killed her off.
See how
Kind
deadly
of
she is.
kind of the same way, and I know you remember this, Griff, like on Daredevil, when they took literally a couple of episodes to kind of give you the entire backstory on the Kingpin, to
Yes, it
make
was
you kind of
beautiful.
really feel him even more.
Mhm.
Because one of the things that I liked about Daredevil was the way that they went through, and they were so meticulous about teaching you about Kingpin's upbringing, almost made you feel sorry for him and didn't really view him as a
As a
villain,
villain. Hmm.
because of all of the stuff that you knew in the background. And there were so many things that she kind of dropped about herself as it pertained to all of the time that she's lived and stuff in the past. I wanted to kind of see some of those things from the
I did want
past
to see
that
that
shaped
too.
her
A
into the
flashback.
person she became. Yeah, I just wanted, just give me maybe just one episode where we kind of see where this chick comes from,
Hmm.
because we hadn't seen her. We saw all of the other guys,
Yeah,
her before, so I wanted to see what was going on with that fifth finger of the hand, to see
exactly.
exactly what she was all about, so I could get a better understanding and appreciation for what she brought to it. Because it's hard for me to just take at face value that, okay, she was the boss of four of the baddest villains that I had seen.
But we haven't seen her
uh
really do anything.
and yeah, it's like she just got it by default. Like, these motherfuckers just all bowing to her left and right, like, okay, what the fuck
And
did
like
she do?
I don't want to be too long about this, but like Marcus was saying so eloquently, is I wish I would have seen a flashback of how basically she kind of took control of the hand over
Yeah,
these
like,
four
she's the
villains.
boss, man. How did you get to be the boss? I just
I
needed
would
to
have
know
loved to
that.
see that one episode. Get that out the way. It would have been
Let
a
me see you.
perfect 10.
Let me see you beat a motherfucker down and like pull his heart out like a Mortal Kombat move or some shit. And
Exactly.
then, you know what?
Oh, you just
I
want to see what
see
made them fear
I
her.
see why they
Yeah,
all so nice to you now.
Okay.
Never
Okay.
mind.
I
I
see.
see why they all so nice to you.
I
Cool.
agree. But yeah, I
Okay.
give it a 9.5. I really loved it. I tell everybody I encountered to watch Game of Thrones and also to watch that. Those are my two shows I'm pushing, and I'm going to continue to push. And after, I know we're going to slide into this topic, but Ballers, man, I gotta give Ballers some credit, man. Ballers is holding it down.
Ooh, man, that's one of my favorites. I
The
love
Rock
that show.
is killing it. The Rock is really killing it. And from a story standpoint, this season is really damn good. I mean, damn, this season is
And,
very
and, and
good.
that was probably my biggest issue. Like, they never progressed no story. It's like Spencer was just bouncing around doing whatever the hell he want. Now they finally
He,
got a storyline. They finally got everything.
Yeah, it's progressive, but it's also timely. We just dealt with
Yes.
the exact situation of the Raiders finally moving to Vegas and them throwing that into the storyline to
Perfect.
kind of help with the
Perfect.
intrigue and sort of the political side of what it is that they do. We've seen what we go through
It's kind of
with
like a
Rock and
knockoff, like a Hard
players.
Knocks behind the scene type
Yeah,
a
drama.
yeah.
Hard Knocks
It's
entourage.
Yeah,
they hit
yeah.
you on the other side of it. Now we dealt with stuff with ballers, with all the headaches they do with the players and negotiating contracts and this, that, and other. But how does it feel to be behind when you go to that upper management and you're trying to move a team and deal with commissioners and
Yeah.
governors and
Hmm.
city councilmen and stuff like that? Like, getting into that aspect of it has made it even more fascinating, because you still have the dilemma of the players and stuff like that, and then the personal issues that The Rock goes through and his buddy goes through. But it just made it's just put a little bit more sizzle on it this
And
season, and they've really been knocking it out of the park for me.
and
It's
I'm
been
gonna
entertaining as hell.
and I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in there. What I like about this, from what I've seen so far, is I kind of wish that they start trimming Ricky Jarrett out of the picture and start trimming some other people and really focus on The Rock and his partner, because they can run a show by themselves. I don't need these
Joe is the
extra
best
characters.
side. Joe is
Joe
like
is
the Paul
amazing.
Rudd of TV.
He's a Paul Rudd of TV. You are
Yeah.
so right, because Paul Rudd is so likable.
Yeah, I can do a show with Paul Rudd. It'll be great. It'll be
When he
amazing.
was hitting his head on the desk on the last episode, I said, "Hell yeah!" Like, I felt like I was laughing, and I just like it, and I'm invested in The Rock as a character, because if you see the
100%.
previews of the new season, I mean the new episode, spoiler alert, they show that they're going to sell their company so he can fully pursue getting the Raiders to move to Las Vegas, kind of what he did in season one when he hit rock bottom is when he did what? So messed up and made bad decisions. And that kind of on paper looks like a bad decision to do. Why sell something that you're doing something so good at it to, kind of make this endeavor? But it's interesting to see, and I really enjoy Ballers, man. That's one of those series that I feel like people need to be watching more of.
You know what, Marcus? You know what my girls finally got me into? Queen Sugar. She
It's good.
finally got me to bite the
You like
bullet,
it?
and I
Welcome
I,
aboard.
I love it. Like
I love it.
I can't lie. I only been watching probably the last like 3 or 4 episodes, but that show
That's Ava DuVernay, man. She holds it down, man. She really writes characters well. She gives a lot of love to her characters. Like she really fleshes them out.
you can definitely see the character development in every character that's on
Hmm.
that show.
Except the
Everybody
husband. The husband I still haven't clicked with. Everybody else I click with is the husband. He's still kind of. I just.
you don't know if he like a good guy.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a good guy or if he's a jackass. I don't know what to feel towards him. With everybody else, they pull up.
Cause he like he always got a problem with something. It's like, nigga, are you ever happy? Like,
I was like, get him out the show. Get out the show.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of good things on TV right
Yeah,
now.
Queen Sugar holding down, man.
Of course, Insecure as usual. I can't say that.
Oh, the ladies love that. The ladies love Insecure.
Well, you know what? I can't. Let's not be gender biased. There are quite a few gentlemen, much like
Oh yeah, that
myself,
too.
that
Yeah.
are simply in love with that show. I absolutely think that it's awesome. It's another one of those
Yes.
shows that are very
Beautifully
timely.
written. Yes.
It appeals to a very specific audience, and the fact that it deals with situations that,
Real
depending
life
on how old
situations.
you are or how out there you are, you may or may not be able to identify with. But the way that the story
Bro, when
is
those
told and
Bloods
the way that
came
those
into the
situations
house,
break down,
dancing
bruh,
in that fire.
bruh. And I mean, you get to like the little things, that they go through and stuff like that, the awkward moments,
Yeah.
the moments of clarity and realism that they have with each other when they're honest, and how you are, sometimes when you got to put that in front of your friends and stuff, like,
Mhm.
I ain't really want to come kick it with you motherfuckers, but shit, I don't want y'all to be thinking I'm a bitch either,
Yeah.
those kind of things, the little things here and there, and then the dynamic between a lot of the different characters and stuff, are very interesting, and it brings up very interesting conversations with the folks that watch it. But they do an outstanding
Definitely.
With
job,
music. With that music. Ooh,
man.
that
Everything
music
about
keeps
the
it popping.
everything about it,
They got
awesome.
bangers. They got bangers.
I
On
love
Yeah, you want to
I
keep
like
up on your music game. If you've been out of the loop on
just
music,
look at
just
it.
watch Insecure. You good?
I like Insecure, and I'm gonna be the devil's advocate about this situation. I like Insecure. I like what the first season brought because
I
it
did not
kind of
watch
brought a new dynamic to everybody's trying to do the Team Lawrence, Team Issa thing, but you kind of see the
I'm not
flaws in both of them. You neglected your
Exactly.
woman. You neglected your woman. Now you see why she cheated. She shouldn't have cheated because
You
you're
had no
in a
job.
relationship. I understand a lot of it, but season two, it's kind of getting out there and just being a hoe is kind of starting to get a little bit old to me. I'm like, let's move on and let's try to
I'm with you.
advance these
But
characters and
the
see what
funny
they do.
part about it though, and that's the part, we think about it from like TV, movie critic standpoint and stuff like that. So I agree
This
with
is
you
real
on
life,
that
yeah.
end. But unfortunately,
This is real life. This is true.
that is so realistic
That is.
that I
Yeah,
understand
we
why
gonna
they
get on
dragging it out so
yeah.
long.
But you know what's funny about this?
And it's
I think
sad to say that, but it's God's honest truth.
I think
It's the truth. Yeah.
and what I love about the show is I think it's really going to start. It's creating that dialogue, but people are starting to be aware of a lot of stuff. Like, yo, that is how we are. As I'm not trying to say black
What?
people, but I'm
Nah,
going to throw it out there
that's
that we have those problems, man. You know what? That don't look too great. Like me just getting out of a relationship and to find
yeah.
myself, I need to go hoe around and shit
Go
like
to
that.
the
Like,
club.
And it's funny that we say it like that, but to me, I don't think that that's an ethnic thing. I think that's just gender. It's just a gender thing. I mean, you have guys that'll fall off the wagon and be like, "Well, I got hurt, so I don't trust no bitch no more. I'm just go out and just be out for mine." And you got girls that's
exactly.
like, "Well, shit, I don't feel like getting all in my feelings and
Money
stuff
over
like that, so I'm
bitches.
gonna just kind of turn
Shut
up
your ass
and
up.
just kick it and have fun for a while." I don't think that that's necessarily a black thing. I just think that's just a man versus woman type thing.
And I
The
hope
way that we deal with certain situations.
True.
and I hope old boy that's sleeping with her friend is not an open relationship. That would really set the season off
Bruh,
on high.
the
If it,
biggest the biggest part for that whole thing, or just for the whole show for me, in case y'all didn't know, or I don't know if y'all knew or not, you know that chick is a virgin in real
A
life,
virgin
right?
in real life. She's 31 and
32
she's a
years.
virgin.
31.
That's shocking.
Man, she's the greatest actress of all
She is, because
time.
I
Because I
thought
would have
Molly
never
was the
guessed.
biggest hoe ever.
Boy,
I
them
thought
you,
Molly is. I
I
thought
thought she
Molly
was
is over there.
Morpheus.
She playing Uno and sucking dick. After
I was like, man,
she
I know
playing
Molly
dominoes
got to
and
be. I know Molly got to be that fine, and they came out. They was like, well, no, I'm a
Mhm.
virgin. I was like, shut
I
the
was like,
front
wow,
door.
you really sold me on
I,
this.
I
You
thought
do a
you was
good job.
thought you was dropping that thing on the car.
I thought
Man,
she was
give her
backing
the
it up.
Academy Award. Give her
The
all the
Emmy.
awards.
Yeah, give
Everything.
her an Emmy. She been holding it down
Give
and
her, man, give her everything, everything,
everything,
everything.
everything.
Man, do we have any words of wisdom today? Wisdom.
The words of wisdom I'm gonna say
Uh,
is stay dry and watch Game of Thrones.
for just generally speaking, for my folks that's in our area, in Houston, as we have this storm and stuff like that approaching, hopefully you've taken all your necessary precautions as far as getting any provisions, water, food,
Food.
stuff like that. Um, the one thing that I will say is this: is somebody that's worked for the city, for the county before, and stuff like that. I know sometimes that you guys get pressured into jobs or feeling that you need to make it out there because you got bills to pay, you got this check to get and stuff like that. It's hard to pay bills and cash a check if you're not here.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't worth money. Be safe, be smart, be careful, and know that I don't think that you missing a day of work is going to outweigh us missing you ever being here again. This rain, this hurricane, whatever it is that we get out of it is nothing to play with. Mother Nature has taught us plenty of times over the years in this area that the day that you choose to take it for granted is the day that you might not make it back. Uh, Stay safe out there, man. Don't take any unnecessary chances. Do not play with these rising waters and this rainfall. Be safe, be smart. We got too much out here to live for. We got too many good podcasts to give y'all,
Yes,
too many
sir.
good, shows to go over, too many good basketball games that I get to laugh at these guys at because the Spurs are gonna be beating the brakes off the
Oh,
Rockets.
here we
I
go.
mean, you got too much
Here
stuff to
we
look
We
go.
forward.
had to throw that out.
But
That's necessary.
other than that, just ride it out for what it is. If you live in a flood affected area, and you guys should know by now, wherever you're living, if you're in a floodplain or in a particular area of town that floods out easy, hey man, take a drive, go out to San Antonio or go up north or something like get out of that general area, man. Don't put yourself in direct harm's way if you cannot help it. uh Again, just be smart, man. Understand and appreciate that your life is more than any call in to a boss, any paycheck that you're trying to get. Live to gripe about not getting that paycheck is what I say.
There we
That's
go.
good knowledge.
That's the words of wisdom from Wilson. Man, but man, I think that's gonna be it. I ain't gonna talk too much about Madden. If y'all got it, go play it. It's a good fucking game. That's all I'm gonna put it at that.
Yeah,
But
we'll do that. We'll do that on the next second serving. We'll give first impressions on that.
yeah, we'll check that out. But man, as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served again.
Y'all stay dry out there.
Be careful. Hey, I'm had the expedition. Y'all call me if y'all need anything.
I have the
I'm gonna be riding big.
at a time.
I'm being that V10 riding big. That
I'm charging.
gallon.
Hey, bro, I got the boat. I got the boat. I got the boat ready. I'm
I think
charging
I'm playing.
$20.
I am grabbing that expedition first thing tomorrow to make sure I ain't gonna be stuck out nowhere.
Hey, you
I'm
stay
like,
safe out there,
"Dude."
son.
Oh, we'll do.
For
Same thing
real.
for y'all fellas, man. So, like again, this has been Fish and Grits. You guys just been served twice. Take it.
Y'all enjoy.